Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Northwest Horn Symposium. Um, Thanks again to the Seattle Symphony Horns for just putting on an extraordinary event. This is just amazing to be able to do this virtually. Today, I'm going to be leading us through a short, really gentle yoga session, and the intention is that then the short warm-up session that we do afterwards will be enhanced by hopefully what you experienced during the yoga session. Um, I will have time for Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A function or type them in the chat, and I will get to them at the end. Before we begin, I do want to talk a bit about yoga, because here in the United States and the West generally, we tend to have a conception of yoga as being this exercise thing that really thin, flexible people do. And yoga really is a philosophical and spiritual tradition that comes from India. It began well over 5,000 years ago. And this tradition, while it does have as an aspect of it the postures that probably you all have seen or done, which is known as asana, those exercises are just one of 8 what they call limbs of yoga. So asana is the postural practice that is meant to prepare the body for meditation. A lot of people do yoga or are drawn to yoga initially because of the physical benefits. You will definitely develop strength and flexibility as you do yoga, but really um, there's so much more to it than that. And it's the so much more to it than that that I find really beneficial for brass players, musicians in general. So I want to talk about some of those other things. And if you happen to consider yourself to not be a flexible person, or if you have any physical reasons why you can't do some of the things that I invite you to do, that's perfectly fine. And in any yoga class, really, you are at liberty to adjust and modify to suit whatever your personal physical needs are. So as we start doing the movements, I'll invite you to do things, but don't feel like you have to do them. I'll be on the floor demonstrating and doing them. If you happen to have a yoga mat or a place on the floor where you're comfortable, I think it's a great thing to explore and do. But if you prefer to sit in a chair, many of these movements can be done seated in a chair. And just really, I want to stress more than anything, yoga is for everyone. Everybody can do yoga. Accessible yoga is a really important part of what is happening in the yoga world right now. And I think that it can be such a benefit to everybody. So it's not about just being super strong and super flexible. It is about so many other things. So I mentioned these, what they call the 8 limbs of yoga. Another one of the very important limbs is called pranayama, and that is the practice of breath. And prana literally means breath or life force in Sanskrit. All of the words that we use in yoga practices are from Sanskrit, which is an ancient language similar to Latin and Greek, ancient Greek. And prana means something more than breath. It actually means like life force, similar to the word chi in Chinese. This like belief that as you inhale, you're inhaling life force, and what you're trying to do in yoga is like move that force and energy through your body in a productive way. So when we practice yoga, we're of course developing strength and fitness and flexibility. We're also developing incredible body awareness and incredible mental focus. So, as I mentioned, this practice that comes from India started over 5,000 years ago. We have written texts. They're known as sutras from India from about 500 BC, and the first writer of these texts is a sage known as Patanjali, and he wrote what are known as the Yoga Sutras. And he was writing these sutras at the same time that the Greeks were inventing democracy. So that can kind of give you a sense of time frame here. So the the Yoga Sutra that I want to talk about is the words in Sanskrit are Chitta Vritti Nirodha, and what that translates to is stilling the fluctuations of the mind. So part of this practice of yoga is bringing your whole self into one focused central point so that your mind is aligned with your body through attention to the breath. And yoga, the word itself, is the root that means union. Like we have the word yoke, like to yoke a team of oxen. Yoga means to unite something. So, so that's basically some foundational information about where yoga comes from and beyond the physical practice, what some of these mental um, benefits can be. And of course, these are very applicable to brass playing because we have to really be good at breathing to play our brass instruments. We have to have incredible body awareness, and we have to be able to focus mentally in order to perform. And I find that one of the challenges that a lot of my students work with, one of the challenges that I work with is paying attention to myself when I'm in the practice room, and especially in the morning when you're warming up. You know, sometimes you're just not quite awake enough and not ready to go. So just doing some very gentle yoga before your morning routine can really waken your body up, kind of kick into gear this process of mental awareness and mental focus. Okay, so I'm going to move my chair and I'm going to move my camera slightly so you can see this is my office at the University of Oregon. There's my yoga mat. I'm going to be sitting on the floor here and demonstrating things. And I invite you to find a place to either sit or be that's comfortable. And again, remember, the only thing that you have to do, the only requirement is that you have to breathe. You have to continually breathe for the next hour, and then you will be doing great yoga. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. Let your arms rest on your legs. Close your eyes or just gaze softly at the floor in front of you. And notice what it feels like to be in your body. You might notice all the places that your body is in contact with the floor or with a chair. And just see if you can let the weight of your body sink into those places where you're in contact with the chair. If you're sitting on the floor, you might move your shoulders back and forward, make little subtle circles with your spine, and just try to find that sort of center of gravity where you feel like your spine is just aligned from top to bottom. Your shoulders are relaxed and over your hips. And then go ahead and notice what's happening in your face. Notice your forehead. Notice if you're thinking a lot, if you've drawn your eyebrows together. Go ahead and relax your eyebrows. Let your forehead relax. Scan down through your face. Notice the muscles around your eyes, the muscles of your cheeks, muscles of your lips, all these embouchure muscles that we use so vigorously. And just see if there's anything you can let go, if there's anything you're holding in your facial expression. Just allow your muscles to relax and release toward the floor. Bring your attention to your tongue and notice if you're pressing your tongue into the roof of your mouth or against your back teeth. And if that's the case, just gently relax, release your tongue, let it just sit in the bottom of your mouth. And now let your attention come to the base of your spine. And imagine your spine is growing up out of the ground like a tree, lifting and lengthening. Let your attention come up from the base of your spine into your lumbar vertebrae. That's the lower third of your spine. And then lift up through the middle third of your spine, your thoracic vertebrae. Lift and lengthen through the top third of your spine. Think of the back of your neck getting nice and long, the back of your head widening behind you, the crown of your head reaching up toward the ceiling. Notice your shoulders and see if you can allow your shoulder blades to relax down, your elbows to be as heavy as possible. And now bring your attention to your breath. Notice what it feels like to inhale deeply. Feel your lungs fill with air. Notice what it feels like to exhale. Feel the rib cage relax back down. The diaphragm relax into the thoracic cavity. Without altering anything, just observe your breath for the next few moments. At the end of your next exhale, draw your navel toward your spine. Really squeeze all the air out of your lungs, and then take the biggest inhale you've taken all day. Fill your lungs with air. When you get to the top, hold for a moment, and then open your mouth and sigh it out. Again, draw your navel toward your spine, squeeze all the air out, and then take another huge deep inhale. And this time when your lungs are full at the top, try to sip in a little extra air. See if you can expand your rib cage a little more. And then when you're ready, open your mouth, exhale through your mouth. Navel draws into spine, completely empty the lungs of air, and then take one more deep, huge inhale through the nose. When you get to the top, again, try to sip in a little extra air, and then open mouth, exhale. Navel comes into spine. And now seal your lips, but continue to breathe deeply. And you can start counting the pace of your breath. Perhaps you'll inhale for 4 counts and then exhale for 4 counts. Maybe inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Whatever you do, try to make your inhale and exhale length be as even as possible. And as you're breathing, notice the movement in your body. Notice how the rib cage expands as you inhale. Notice how the abdomen gently comes forward with that inhale. And then as you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes up into your body. And then you can intentionally draw your navel in toward your spine to complete the exhale. As you're observing your breath, before we begin movement, just mentally note that what we're going to try to do is keep breathing in this deep, slow pattern throughout all of our movement practice, our asana practice. So at the end of your next complete breath, exhale completely. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. Let your arms relax down by your sides. And then on your next inhale, lift your earlobes up toward your shoulders up toward your earlobes. And then draw your shoulder blades together behind you. Relax your arms down. Inhale, shoulders up toward the ears. Press your shoulder blades back toward each other. Relax them down with the exhale. And just keep moving through these shoulder circles. When you're next in the exhale, completely down position, reverse the direction of the circles. So inhale, shoulder blades draw toward each other. Bring your shoulders up toward your earlobes, and then exhale, press your shoulders forward. Relax them down. And keep doing circles in this opposite direction. Letting your movement align with your breath. At the end of your next complete exhale, bring your hands back toward your thighs. Let your shoulders relax and find stillness. Again, keeping the breath as long and deep and even as you can. And just observe any changes in the body. With your next inhale, grow tall through your spine. Reach the crown of the head toward the ceiling. On the exhale, let your chin fall toward your chest. And just keep breathing here and notice what you're feeling in the muscles at the back of your neck, You might feel stretching in the muscles of the shoulder or the upper back. You're welcome to just sit here with your head hanging forward, allowing these muscles to lengthen and loosen. Or if it feels good in your body, feel free to start rolling your right ear toward your right shoulder on an inhale. On an exhale, bring your chin back toward the center of your body. And then inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin comes back to center. As you're aligning this rolling movement with your breath, notice what you're feeling in your body. For horn players, we often really start to notice the asymmetry we might have going on because of the way we hold our instrument. So notice where you feel tightness and see if you can send a message to any muscle in your body that feels tight, that there's room for that muscle to lengthen, to release. You can create space inside your body by paying attention to it. The next time your left ear is near your left shoulder, let that be the last time in that direction. Chin comes back to the center of the chest, and then inhale. Lift your face forward. Again, find stillness in your body. Notice how it feels to breathe. And also maybe notice if there's any more sense of freedom of movement through the cervical vertebrae, through the top third of your spine. From this position, take your hands and touch your shoulders. So you've got like little chicken wing arms. And again, aligning the movement with the breath. On an inhale, lift your elbows up. Bring your elbows forward to touching or close to touching, and then exhale, circle them down. So we're going to just do these circles slowly with our deep, regulated breath. And as you're doing these circles, notice the sensation of your shoulder blades moving across your back. So for those of you who were in Frankie Lasordo's presentation on Friday, he had some really great graphics of the skeleton and where the lungs fit in the body. Your lungs start at the clavicle and reach all the way down through the rib cage. They're a really large organ. And of course, as brass players, we're always working to expand our capacity. And part of that expansion is to be free through the shoulder area. Go ahead and reverse the direction of these rolls. So on the inhale, elbows come together in front, lift them high, exhale, roll them out to the side, and really move your shoulder blades as much as you can, especially as you're lifting and opening. See if you can imagine your shoulder blades touching each other behind your spine. Physically, they can't actually touch each other, but you can bring them really, really close. Do one more circle in this direction. And at the end of your circles, relax your arms down. In stillness. Notice any sensation in your body. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit of warmth through the shoulder and upper chest area, through the neck. On your next exhale, extend your fingers wide, maybe reaching out toward the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. If it feels comfortable in your neck, look up at your thumbs, and then keep that length in your body as you reach your arms wide and down. So we're expanding through our entire torso, using our arms to reach as wide as possible. Inhale up, exhale down. And one more time, inhale up. This time, just lower your right hand down and then lift and lengthen through the left side of the body. So this isn't so much about how far over you can bend as feeling a stretch from your left hip through the entire left side of your torso, and then all the way from your left shoulder through your left fingertips. So just explore what it feels like to reach. Notice if you have a tendency for your left shoulder to want to come forward. You want to keep your body in a plane as if your torso were between two windows of glass here. Find as much length as you can through the left side. Really fill the left side of your lungs with air. On your next exhale, Draw your navel toward your spine. Inhale, lift yourself up back to center. Right arm comes up, and then left arm comes down. We'll do the same thing on the left side. Lift and lengthen. Find as much space as you can through the right side of the body. Actively press your right hip into the floor. Actively roll your right shoulder to the ceiling as you reach your right fingers overhead. Find as much length as you can through the right side of the body. Remember to keep breathing, long, slow, deep breaths, and keep noticing, what do you feel in your body? Take one more round of breath here, and at the end of your next complete exhale, inhale, lift yourself back up, both arms come up and overhead, and then exhale, bring your arms down, rest them on your legs, and again, take a moment to notice what you feel in your body. Differences in temperature, maybe you feel like there's more space, maybe your breathing is coming a little easier. Take your left hand, grab your right knee. Take your right hand, place it behind you, or maybe grab the side of your chair if you're sitting in a chair. On your next inhale, grow as tall as you can through your spine. As you exhale, gently twist to the right. Again, it's not a contest to see how far you can go. It's an opportunity for you to observe what's happening in your body as you twist your torso to the right. Every time you inhale, see if you can lengthen through the crown of the head. Every time you exhale, see if you can relax your shoulder blades toward each other. Find a little bit of opening through your chest. And just find a little bit of comfort and peace, solitude in this unusual shape. At the end of your next complete exhale, release your hands, untwist yourself. Let your hands rest on your thighs and just take a moment to observe anything that feels different in your body. And then bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand either to the side of your chair or behind you, pressing into the ground behind your spine. On the inhale, grow as tall as you can through the spine, reach the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Exhale, twist to the left. Draw your shoulder blades together. Groach Hall on each inhale. Relax, twist, open through the chest on each exhale. Take one more deep inhale in this position. And then exhaling completely, gently untwist yourself. And we're going to do our last seated pose as a forward fold. So you are already in a forward fold if your legs are coming forward. So if you want to just sit here, that's totally fine. If you know that you have some capacity to lift and lengthen and fold forward, please do. If you've had any kind of surgery on the lumbar discs and you're concerned about it, I would recommend that you don't forward fold here. So lifting and lengthening through your chest. If you're going to move forward, you can walk your hands forward and keep lengthening from the tip of your tailbone through the crown of your head, finding a comfortable forward fold. Most of us at some point are going to feel this in our hips. When you get to a point where you're feeling some discomfort in your hips, just stop there and breathe. See if you can relax. Relax your muscles, relax your mind, relax your body, and then maybe you'll find a little more space to come forward. Keep breathing your long, slow, even deep breaths here. At the end of your next exhale, walk your hands back toward your body. Lift yourself back up into a seated position. And then go ahead and transition to a tabletop position. And if you don't want to be in a tabletop position for any reason, if you have sensitive wrists, you can always use fists instead of flat hands, or you can stay in your chair. What we're going to do are commonly known as cat-cow pranayama, And you can do these seated in a chair too. What we're going to do is on the inhale, lift our tailbone. So if you're in a chair, just draw your tailbone toward the back of your chair. Let the front of your chest stretch out, lift the crown of your head. So if you're in the chair, look up at the ceiling. And then exhale, curl your tailbone toward your knees, press your back toward the ceiling or the back of the chair, chin to chest. And then just move with your breath. So we're creating this undulating wave of motion from our tailbone to the crown of the head. Curling the tailbone down, tucking the chin to the chest on the exhale, inhaling, lifting the tailbone up, stretching out through the front of the body. As you move through this Cow Pranayama, imagine each vertebrae of your spine articulating independently. When we do this kind of really slow, attentive movement, we can find those places where we're unnecessarily clenching and holding tension in our body and learn to let them go. And that can create more physical space in the body, more room to breathe, and more opportunity to exist tension-free, which is, of course, great for horn playing and also just great for general living. At the end of your next exhale, find a neutral tabletop position. And just notice again anything you're feeling in your body, any sensations. When you feel ready to move, extend your right foot behind you, press the toes into the ground. Maybe move your ankle up and down. That might move your torso a little bit. Just explore what it feels like to extend this leg. You're welcome to stay right here. If you feel pretty good, go ahead and lift your right leg up, flex your right foot, press through the right heel. And notice how that requires the abdominal muscles, the core muscles to engage. From this position, on your next exhale, draw your knee toward your chest. You can tuck your chin toward your chest. Inhale, extend through your right foot, press through the right heel. Exhale, knee comes to nose. And one more time, inhale, extend through that right leg. And then exhale, lower the right knee down. Go ahead and move in any way that feels good. You might want to do another cat-cow or just shift your hips left and right. And now we're going to move on to the left leg. Extend your left leg behind you. Move your ankle a little bit. If you're in a chair, by the way, you can just sort of extend your legs out and explore what your legs are feeling. If you want to lift your leg up, lift, press through the heel. And again, just notice the engagement of the core muscles, the abdominal muscles, the muscles of the pelvic floor. Notice what happens if you lift your leg a little bit higher, what muscles need to engage. On your next exhale, draw your left knee toward your chest, tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale, extend, really press energetically through your flexed left foot, through the heel. Exhale, knee comes to the chest, tuck your chin. And then once again, extend. And on the exhale, draw your knee in toward the chest. Inhale, extend. And then lower your left knee back down to the mat. Go ahead and walk your knees out wider than your hips. Draw your toes together. Pull your hips back toward your heels and rest your forehead on something. Maybe on the floor, maybe on your folded hands. If you have a cushion or a pillow near you, you could always tuck that underneath your chest and rest your forehead on it. Stack of books if you have a block. And just go ahead and let your hips pull gently toward your heels and draw your attention to the lower third of your spine, the lumbar vertebrae. Here's an opportunity to really create more space through the lower back. And for people who sit a lot, which is often horn players, this can become a place of a lot of tension and a lot of compression. So it's really important to sort of work it out and stretch it out. As you're resting your forehead on something, know that there is a point sort of right toward the middle of your eyebrows, which is sort of a nexus, a gathering of a bunch of nerves that move through the body. And this point, if you apply pressure to it, helps to calm the nervous system. So this is a great pose to go into if you're feeling anxiety, like prior to performing a solo recital. You might just take a little moment to get into this pose. This is commonly known as child's pose or wide-legged child's pose. And by stimulating this point right between your eyebrows, you're helping your body to move into what's known as the parasympathetic nervous system, or the part of our nervous system that takes care of our resting and our digesting, as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system, which is the part that inspires us to have anxiety reaction, fight, flight, or freeze reaction. So this is also a process known as down-regulating the nervous system. Again, really valuable for performers. When you feel ready, bring yourself up and out of your child's pose. And we're going to move to a standing position. I'm going to guide us through a downward facing dog. If you don't want to put any weight on your hands, then just bring yourself up into a standing position and we'll meet you there. So if you want to go into the downward dog, walk your hands about a handprint forward, curl your toes under, lift your hips, and then just go ahead and do any movement here that feels good. A lot of people like to sort of pedal their feet and legs out. So this really wakes up the hamstrings. And also, you can really find length through your body from your tailbone through the crown of the head. Downward facing dog. And then go ahead and slowly walk your feet forward toward your hands. Bring your feet about hips width distance apart. And then go ahead and cross your arms at the elbow. Let your upper body hang over your lower body. Forward fold. It is perfectly okay to bend through the knees here. Let your head hang like a heavy bowling ball so that your neck muscles can release and relax completely. And then let your arms relax down. Very slowly, with a bend in your knees, roll yourself up to standing. From this standing position, inhale, lift your shoulders up toward your ears. Press your shoulder blades behind you. Roll your palms so they face forward. And just find stillness in this position. This is known as Tadasana or mountain pose. Feel your feet connected to the ground. Notice how it feels like to take a big, huge inhale. Exhale, open mouth exhale if you'd like. And now go ahead and grab your horn. There are a lot more yoga stretches we could do, but I'm gonna move us into some horn playing just because of time. I'm also gonna change my microphone situation, so as you're getting your horn set up, give me a moment to change my audio setup. Okay, can you hear me? I'm gonna assume you can hear me unless somebody starts typing that you can't. Okay, so with your horn, we're gonna apply these same principles of really paying attention to ourselves and trying to keep ourselves focused on the moment. Okay, I'll try to talk a little louder. I've got it set for playing. So bring your mouthpiece out of your horn. We're gonna start with some buzzing. And there are a lot of different fundamentals, warm-up exercises you can do. They're all pretty similar. So I'm just going to randomly choose some things that I regularly do, but I think there's a lot of different ways to warm up that are really effective. So we're going to do some mouthpiece buzzing and then transfer it to the horn. So I'm going to start on a G, slur down to an F sharp and back to the G with a tempo going, and then I invite you to copy me, do what I did. Okay, now we're going to grab our horns and do that same series of pitch bending. You can do these either with the valves or by bending the pitches. Do whatever is in your practice or what you think is going to feel good. I'm definitely not a proponent of no pain, no gain. I think it's no pain, no pain. So just do what feels good. Three, four. Da, da. 3, 4. Da, da, da. 3, 4. Da, da, da. 3, Okay, great. Now we're going to move on to 6 notes, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with in the Carmine Caruso tradition. And just so you all know, most of my warm-up and daily routine stuff comes from studying in New York. I studied with Bill Purvis, who taught me a lot of the Forrest Stanley routine. And I also learned from Lori Frink some of the Carmine Caruso stuff. And just being a horn player in New York, you kind of absorb Carmine Caruso by osmosis. So, if you're not familiar with the Carmine Caruso exercises, I highly recommend you check out Julie Landsman's videos. But for now, just know that we're going to play 3 half notes in a row. Starting on G, we're going to go up by half notes and then come down an octave once we hit C. I'll do it, you do it. It'll make a lot of sense. So starting on G, again with time in your mind. 3, 4. Dum, dum, dum. 3, 4. A flat. Dum, dum. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. B flat. 3, 4. Dum, dum, dum. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. 3, 4. Dum, dum, dum. Now we drop the octave. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. 3, 4. C sharp. Dum, dum. D is next. 3, 4. Dum, dum, dum. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. 3, 4. Dum, dum, dum. 3, 4. F sharp. Dum, dum. And then G. 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to get the water out of my horn. I want to remind you all that you are welcome to type questions in the chat. I think given the time, we'll do one more exercise. It'll just be an overtone slur exercise, and then we can open it up to a little bit of chatting. but I definitely want to make sure I get all the water out. It's always great to take breaks when you practice. So if you're doing an hour-long practice session, you don't want to play solid for an entire hour. That's kind of brutal on the muscles of the face. So if you're practicing for an hour, probably it's 50% of that time you're playing, 50% of that time you're actively not playing, but you're thinking and engaged in what you're doing. Okay, we're going to do Overtone Slurs. I'll just set up a pattern, and again, follow me on the pattern. If we're going to pretty quickly get up to the 16th overtone, so if we happen to get into a range that you're not comfortable playing in, don't force it. Just come back down and just keep thinking about how range is a product of efficiency in the body and engagement in places where that efficiency is going to make the notes come out that you want. So starting on open horn, again, we're thinking time in our head. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-da is about how fast I go. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. Second valve. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. First valve. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee. 1 and 2. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. And 2 and 3. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. Now we're going to start on 2 and 3 and go up to the 10th overtone, which is like playing the third of the chord in the second octave. I'll play it and you play it back. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. 1 and 2. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. First valve. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. Second valve. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. Then open. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee. Now we're going to move to the 12th overtone, which is like the 5th of the second octave. And we'll start on open and then go back down. And I'm going to move the overtones a little bit faster now. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. Second valve. 3, 4. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. First valve. 3,
we're coming up to our last set now. We're going to start on 2 and 3, and this time we're going to go up 2 octaves, or to the 16th overtone. And again, this is an opportunity for you to explore what you're feeling, cultivate internal body awareness, and cultivate mental focus. Three, four. Ba da dee 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 da dum. 1 and 2. Three, four. Ba da dee 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 da dum. First valve. Three, four. Ba da dee 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 da dum. Second valve. Three, four. Ba da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dum. Last one, open. Three, four. Ba da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dum. Okay, so obviously there's a lot more warming up on the horn we can do. There are a lot more yoga asana practices we could do, but we are running out of time. I'm going to change up my sound and just invite anybody to ask any questions. Hi, Alicia. Hi, I think I saw Jill in there. Justin, it's so nice to see so many folks. Thanks for coming. I know Jill Jack is a yoga teacher in the Seattle area, along with being a wonderful horn player, and I believe Jill teaches yoga on stand-up paddle boards, which I think is super cool. I want to try that someday. All right, I'm switching
back to my AirPods. Cool. Okay, I got a great question here, which is, do you think the yoga helps you control nerves? Absolutely. I think that yoga, it's so great for horn players specifically because, you know, we tend to develop this fear complex over like accuracy and high notes, and yoga is just a really great way to learn how to do that self-regulation and down-regulation of the nervous system, which is really important for controlling nerves. So yeah. Gina says she feels much more relaxed after the gentle yoga. That's great. Oh, here's a question. What do you suggest when you're getting tense in the middle of a long practice session or rehearsal? It's a great question. One of the best things that you can do is just pay attention to your exhale and see if you can make your exhale last a little bit longer. Because as soon as you do that, you're doing that thing I just mentioned, which is down regulating your nervous system, and then allowing yourself the space to take a deeper, fuller breath of air in. And as soon as that air is coming in and out of your body more fully, so that you're really using your lungs and more slowly, there's just an automatic sort of relaxation of the muscles as well. Another great thing to do is just a seated twist. Sometimes if you're playing, we tend as horn players to bring our shoulders forward and collapse our chest and try too hard. So rolling your shoulders back, lifting through the sternum, lifting through the crown of the head, thinking about lengthening through the back of the neck is really important. And one way to kind of access that quickly is to do just a quick twist in your chair. So you can just bring your hand to your opposite knee, twist it both directions. I find myself always wanting to twist to the left because it's just counter to like the normal torque that we have because of holding the horn. Any other questions? I see a lot of great comments here. Throat tension. is feeling really good right now. That's great, Cindy. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, I think a lot of times we kind of clamp down with our chin trying to be accurate, and that adds all this tension through the neck and through the trachea. So one thing I like to think about is like, what would it feel like if I was holding an orange or a tennis ball right here? And that automatically extends the length of the cervical vertebrae to your full length. Let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of things happening in the chat, so I'm trying to look for any other questions. Here we go. I can show you some easy postures that calm the central nervous system. A trauma therapist and a horn player, Brenna Lever. Wonderful, Brenna. Thanks for that. And yeah, I'm all about lifelong learning. I think I personally started, I've been dabbling in yoga for 25 years, but I started doing it kind of very seriously for about the last 8 years because I had some lower back pain. And then I had an opportunity to take a yoga teacher training, and it's just been really revelatory for me. Thanks, Josiah, for your comment. He says this was a refreshing way to begin a day. Okay, one more question. Anybody? Is there a list of the order available? No, I don't have a list of what I did specifically. However, what I want to do is just recommend that you all find a good yoga practitioner teacher in your area, or also there's a great group called Yoga for All Musicians, and it's started by a trumpet player and a trombone player and a flute player who are also yoga teachers. And you can find them at yogaforallmusicians.com. And they do a lot of great yoga teaching, which doesn't have too much wrist stuff, which can be problematic for a lot of string players and piano players. And Lan asks, why do you do yoga in the morning? Because it feels good. I also do yoga at night. Yeah, I think every time of day is great for yoga. Yoga in the morning, you can really engage and bring your energy sort of forward and upward. And at night, it's really great for chilling out. So we're running out of time here. It's so nice to have you all here. If you have any more questions, feel free to email me directly. You can find me on the University of Oregon website. And I look forward to everything else that's going to happen today. Bye.